When Jake rescues a struggling baby shark, he forms an unexpected bond that leads to a shocking revelation. Together, they must uncover hidden secrets and face unimaginable dangers to protect their ocean home. And if you like the story, remember to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Write in the comments where you're watching this video from. Jake stood at the edge of the rocky shore, his heart pounding as the waves crashed against the cliffs. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink, but Jake barely noticed the beauty around him. His mind was focused on the sound of something struggling in the water. A soft, muffled noise caught his attention, a faint cry for help coming from the sea. He looked down and saw a small shape thrashing in the shallow water. As he watched closer, his eyes widened. It was a baby shark, tangled in a thick net that clung tightly to the rocks. The little creature was struggling desperately, its fins flapping wildly as it tried to free itself. Jake felt a surge of empathy. He had always loved the ocean and its creatures, and seeing the baby shark in pain broke his heart. Without thinking twice, Jake took off his shoes and waded into the cold water. The waves were strong, pulling at his legs, but he pushed forward, determined to help. As he got closer, he could see the fear in the shark's eyes. It was just so small and vulnerable, completely out of place in the harsh environment of the rocky shore. Jake reached out slowly, careful not to scare the baby shark further. He gently touched the net, feeling the rough texture against his skin. The shark's movements became frantic, its small body thrashing even more. Jake knew he had to act quickly. He carefully began to cut through the net with a pocket knife he always carried for emergencies. The sharp blade made quick work, slicing through the thick fibers with ease. As he worked, Jake couldn't help but feel a connection with the creature. He remembered stories his father had told him about sharks being misunderstood and often feared for no reason. This baby shark was clearly lost and scared, just like he sometimes felt when he was alone. The waves grew stronger, and Jake struggled to keep his balance, but he focused on freeing the shark. Finally, with one last cut, the net gave way. The baby shark was free, but it wasn't safe yet. Jake knew he had to get it back into deeper water where it could swim freely. He scooped the small shark into his hands, feeling its tiny heart race against his palm. The water around them was becoming rougher, and Jake realized he didn't have much time. He turned to make his way back to the deeper water, but a loud noise startled him. He looked up to see a group of people approaching quickly along the beach. They were shouting and pointing, clearly upset. Jake's heart sank. He had heard stories about how some people didn't like sharks and saw them as dangerous creatures. He worried they might not understand why he was helping the baby shark. One of the men stepped forward, his face red with anger. "What do you think you're doing?" he demanded. "That shark belongs to us. You need to leave it alone." Jake took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "I'm just trying to help," he replied softly. The shark was stuck in the net and scared. "It needs to go back into the water." The man shook his head, his frustration clear. "You don't understand. Sharks are dangerous. You can't just go around saving them like that." Jake felt a pang of sadness and frustration. He knew the shark wasn't dangerous, it was just a baby, confused and lost. "Every creature deserves a chance to live," he said firmly. "Please, let me help it." But the man wasn't listening. He gestured to the others, who began to form a circle around Jake and the baby shark. Jake felt trapped, the rough waves crashing around him making it harder to move. He glanced down at the tiny shark, its eyes wide and pleading, and knew he couldn't give up now. Summoning all his strength, Jake pushed against the water, trying to create space between him and the angry crowd. The men started to get closer, their voices rising. Jake could see the fear and determination in their eyes, and he knew he had to act quickly to protect the baby shark. Just as the tension seemed unbearable, a sudden loud noise echoed across the beach. The men froze, looking around in confusion. Jake took advantage of the momentary distraction and began to swim back toward deeper water, clutching the baby shark tightly. The waves were rough, but he kept going, his muscles aching from the effort. Behind him, one of the men shouted, "Stop him!" But Jake didn't look back. He focused on putting as much distance between himself and the crowd as possible. The baby shark seemed to calm down in his hands, its frantic movements slowing as it realized Jake was trying to help it. After what felt like an eternity, Jake reached the deeper part of the water. He gently released the shark, watching as it swam away gracefully, its small body moving swiftly through the waves. A sense of relief washed over him, but he knew his journey wasn't over yet. As Jake turned to leave the water, he noticed something unusual. The dark clouds that had been gathering overhead were moving rapidly, swirling together in an unnatural way. Lightning flickered in the distance, and the first heavy drops of rain began to fall. Jake realized that a storm was brewing, and he needed to find shelter quickly. He began to run along the beach, the wind whipping his hair back as the rain intensified. The sky was dark, and the sound of thunder grew louder, echoing off the cliffs. Jake's heart raced as he searched for a place to take cover. He spotted an old lighthouse a short distance away, its light still shining despite the worsening weather. As he approached the lighthouse, the wind howled, making it difficult to hear anything else. The door creaked open, and Jake stepped inside, shaking off the rain. The interior was dimly lit, with thick beams of light cutting through the darkness. He could hear the sound of rain pounding against the windows and the distant rumble of thunder. Inside, Jake found a small room with a sturdy wooden table and a few chairs. He took a moment to catch his breath, the adrenaline slowly leaving his system. Just as he began to relax, he heard a noise from above. Looking up, he saw a group of people climbing the narrow staircase leading to the top of the lighthouse. Jake's heart sank. He knew those men were the same ones who had confronted him on the beach. They must have followed him, determined to stop him from helping the baby shark. He felt a surge of fear, but also a sense of determination. He couldn't let them ruin what he had started. The men reached the top of the lighthouse, their faces set with anger and frustration. One of them stepped forward, pointing a finger at Jake. "You think you can just save a shark and do whatever you want?" he demanded. "We've told you before, stay out of our business." Jake stood his ground, his eyes meeting the man's with unwavering resolve. "I'm not doing anything wrong," he replied calmly. "I was trying to help a creature in need. You have no right to stop me." The leader of the group took a step closer, his expression hardening. "You're putting everyone at risk," he accused. "That baby shark belongs to someone, and we're going to make sure you hand it over." Before Jake could respond, a loud crash echoed through the lighthouse. The ground beneath them shook, and the walls seemed to tremble. The men looked around, startled and confused. Jake took the opportunity to back away, inching his way toward the door. As he moved, he noticed that the lighthouse was starting to show signs of damage from the storm outside. Cracks appeared in the walls, and pieces of debris began to fall from the ceiling. Jake knew he had to act quickly to protect himself and the baby shark. He glanced back at the men, who were now trying to navigate the unstable structure. Fear for his safety surged through him, but he also felt a strange sense of responsibility for the little shark he had saved. He couldn't let anyone hurt it or himself. With the storm growing more intense, Jake made a decision. He needed to get out of the lighthouse and back to the safety of the shore. He hurried down the stairs, the sound of the storm growing louder with each step. The wind howled outside, making it hard to hear anything else. As he reached the bottom of the staircase, a loud crash echoed above him. The roof of the lighthouse began to collapse, sending debris crashing down around him. Jake dodged falling pieces of wood and glass, his heart racing as he navigated the treacherous environment. Finally, he burst through the door and into the raging storm. The rain was pouring down, and the waves were crashing higher than ever before. Jake struggled to keep his footing as he ran toward the safety of the shore, the baby shark still in his mind. Just as he thought he couldn't run any further, the storm began to subside. The winds died down, and the rain slowed to a gentle drizzle. Jake looked around, realizing he was safe, but the lighthouse behind him was in ruins. He took a deep breath, feeling a mix of relief and exhaustion wash over him. As he made his way back to the beach, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary had just happened. The storm had come out of nowhere, fierce and sudden, and now it had passed as quickly as it had arrived. He wondered if it was a sign, something connected to the baby shark he had saved. When he reached the shore, the baby shark was nowhere to be seen. Jake felt a pang of worry, hoping that it had found its way back to the ocean safely. He scanned the water, but the baby shark was gone, leaving Jake to ponder the mysterious events of the day. As he walked back home, Jake thought about the bond he had felt with the baby shark and the unexpected storm that had interrupted his rescue. He couldn't help but feel that their encounter was more than just a chance meeting. There was something special about that little shark, something that had brought them together in the midst of chaos. Back at his house, Jake sat down on the porch, the cool evening breeze soothing his tired muscles. He watched as the last remnants of the storm faded into the night sky, the moon casting a silvery glow over the calm sea. The memory of saving the baby shark stayed with him, filling him with a sense of purpose and curiosity. He decided to visit the beach the next day, hoping to find some clues about what had happened. Maybe the baby shark would return, or perhaps there would be signs of the storm's sudden appearance. Jake knew he couldn't let go of the feeling that something important had happened, something that would change his life in ways he couldn't yet imagine. That night, Jake couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the baby shark and the storm, wondering if there was more to the story. As he lay in bed, he heard a soft noise coming from outside his window. Curious, he got up and looked out into the darkness. To his surprise, he saw a faint glow in the water, near the spot where he had saved the shark. His heart skipped a beat as he watched the light move closer to the shore. Without hesitation, Jake grabbed a flashlight and rushed outside, his excitement overcoming his fatigue. As he approached the glowing light, he saw the baby shark emerging from the water. But it was different now. It shimmered with an ethereal glow, its eyes shining with intelligence and understanding. The shark swam gracefully toward Jake, its movements calm and purposeful. Jake felt a sense of awe and wonder as he watched the transformed creature. The baby shark seemed to be trying to communicate, moving in a way that suggested it wanted him to follow. Without knowing why, Jake felt compelled to obey. And if you like the story, remember to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. He took a deep breath and stepped closer to the water, extending his hand in a gesture of friendship. The baby shark approached, circling Jake gently before swimming away toward a cluster of rocks. Jake followed, his curiosity piqued by the mysterious behavior of the shark. As he reached the rocks, he noticed something incredible, a hidden path leading into a secluded cove, illuminated by the same ethereal glow that surrounded the shark. Jake knew he had to explore further, to uncover the secrets behind the baby shark's transformation and the strange storm. With determination in his heart, he began to follow the path, ready to discover what shocking thing had happened and what role he and the baby shark would play in the unfolding mystery. Jake wiped the salty water from his face, his heart still racing from the adrenaline of rescuing the baby shark. He watched as the little shark swam in tight circles, its movements frantic and desperate. Something about the way it moved made Jake feel like there was more to this shark than just a frightened sea creature. He knelt down on the wet sand, extending his hand slowly, hoping to build trust. The baby shark cautiously approached Jake, its fins twitching nervously. Jake could feel a strange connection, like the shark understood his kindness. He decided he couldn't leave it alone, especially with the dark clouds now swirling above, turning the sky a gloomy gray. The wind began to pick up, making the waves crash louder against the shore. Jake knew he had to act quickly. He gently lifted the baby shark, cradling it in his arms. The shark seemed to relax a little, its small eyes meeting Jake's with an unexpected level of intelligence. Jake looked around, hoping to find something to help the shark. Nearby, he spotted an old, abandoned boat half buried in the sand. It wasn't much, but it could provide some shelter from the growing storm. As he carried the shark toward the boat, Jake heard a faint cry. He turned to see his young daughter, Lily, running toward him, her eyes wide with concern. "Daddy, what are you doing?" she asked, breathless from running. "I found a baby shark, Lily. It's hurt and scared." I need to help it, Jake explained, trying to keep his voice calm despite the chaos around them. Lily looked up at the stormy sky and then back at the shark. Can I help? She asked, her small hand reaching out to touch the shark's fin gently. Jake smiled, touched by her compassion. Of course. Let's get it to the boat and keep it safe until the storm passes. Together, they carefully carried the baby shark to the old boat. The wind howled, and the first drops of rain began to fall, making the sand slippery beneath their feet. They settled inside the boat, the walls creaking under the pressure of the wind. Jake placed the shark gently in a shallow basin of water he had brought along, hoping to keep it comfortable until they could find more help. As they waited, the storm grew fiercer. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating the dark clouds in stark, brilliant lines. Thunder rumbled, shaking the boat and making both Jake and Lily jump. The baby shark seemed calmer now, resting in the water, its eyes watching them with an almost grateful expression. Jake wrapped an arm around Lily, pulling her close to keep her warm. It's going to be okay, he whispered, trying to reassure her despite his own fears. Lily nodded, snuggling against him as the storm raged outside. Hours passed, and the storm showed no signs of letting up. The rain pounded against the boat's sides, and the wind threatened to tear it apart. Jake knew they couldn't stay there forever. He needed to find a way to help the shark and keep his family safe. Just as he was about to consider moving the boat, a strange light appeared on the horizon. It wasn't the usual flicker of a lighthouse or the distant glow of a town. This light was bright and pulsating, almost like it was communicating something. Jake squinted against the rain, trying to make sense of it. "Daddy, look!" Lily exclaimed, pointing toward the light. Jake followed her gaze and saw the light moving steadily toward them, cutting through the storm like a beacon. His heart pounded with a mix of fear and curiosity. What could it be? The light grew larger, and Jake could now see it wasn't a single light but a series of them, arranged in a pattern that seemed almost deliberate. He felt a chill run down his spine. "Stay here, Lily," he instructed, his voice steady despite the uncertainty. "I'm going to check it out." Lily looked up at him, her eyes full of worry. "Be careful, Daddy." Jake nodded, knowing he had to act quickly. He grabbed a flashlight from his bag and stepped outside the boat, shielding his eyes from the driving rain. The storm was fierce, but the light was too intriguing to ignore. As he approached the source, he realized the lights were coming from the old lighthouse that stood on the rocky cliffs nearby. The lighthouse had been abandoned for years, its light extinguished after a tragic accident. Jake had always been curious about it, but never dared to explore. Now, with the storm raging and the baby shark safe for the moment, he felt a strange urge to investigate. He waded through the choppy waves, the water reaching up to his waist. The wind whipped his hair back, and the rain stung his face, but Jake pressed on, driven by a mix of determination and something he couldn't quite explain. As he neared the lighthouse, the light's pattern became clearer. It was as if someone was trying to send a message, a rhythm to follow. Reaching the base of the lighthouse, Jake climbed the slippery rocks, each step careful and deliberate. The building loomed above him, its windows dark and empty. He could hear the roar of the storm inside, a constant reminder of the power of nature. Taking a deep breath, he pushed open the heavy door and stepped inside. The interior of the lighthouse was dark and damp, the air thick with the scent of salt water and decay. Jake flicked on his flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness and revealing the spiral staircase that led to the top. He felt a shiver run down his spine but continued upward, each step echoing loudly in the empty space. As he reached the top, the source of the light became clear. A large, glowing orb floated in the center of the room, pulsating with the same rhythm he had seen from the shore. The orb emitted a soft hum, and Jake felt an inexplicable pull toward it. He took a cautious step forward, his eyes fixed on the mesmerizing light. Suddenly, the orb shifted, and a figure materialized beside it. It was a woman, her form shimmering and ethereal, like she was made of light itself. Jake stumbled back, his heart racing. "Who are you?" he demanded, trying to keep his voice steady. The woman smiled gently, her eyes kind and understanding. I am a guardian of the ocean, she replied, her voice soothing despite the chaos outside. You have saved one of our own, and for that, you have my gratitude. Jake looked down at the baby shark in the boat, now calm and resting peacefully. I didn't know, he said softly. I just wanted to help. The guardian nodded. Your kindness has not gone unnoticed. The baby shark you saved is special. It is a guardian in training, and it chose you to be its protector. Jake felt a surge of emotions, pride, confusion, and a deep sense of responsibility. What do I need to do? He asked, his mind racing with questions. The guardian extended her hand, and the orb's light began to dance around them, showing images of the ocean and its many creatures. There is a great threat to the sea, she explained. Pollution, overfishing, and harmful practices are endangering the delicate balance of marine life. We need your help to protect and restore the ocean. Jake felt the weight of her words. He had always loved the sea, spending his weekends fishing and exploring the coastline, but he had never imagined he could make a difference on such a grand scale. I want to help, he said firmly. What can I do? The guardian smiled, placing her hand on his shoulder. First, you must understand the connection you share with the ocean. The baby shark is more than just a creature, it is a symbol of hope and resilience. Together, you can inspire others to take action and protect our waters. Before Jake could ask more, the storm outside began to calm. The fierce winds died down, and the rain softened to a gentle drizzle. The guardian's form began to fade, and the orb's light dimmed. Remember, Jake, the ocean is a part of you now. Trust in your heart and the bond you share with the baby shark. You are not alone in this fight. With those final words, the guardian disappeared, leaving Jake alone in the lighthouse. He felt a deep sense of purpose settle over him. He knew what he had to do next. He hurried back down the stairs, the storm having subsided but the night still dark and quiet. Reaching the boat, he found Lily awake, watching him with concern. Are you okay, Daddy? She asked, her voice filled with worry. Jake smiled, relief washing over him. I'm okay, Lily. I have something important to do now. We need to take care of the baby shark and help protect our ocean. Lily nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. I want to help too, she said eagerly. Jake felt a swell of pride and love for his daughter. We can all do our part, he replied. Together, we can make a difference. As they prepared to leave, Jake noticed the baby shark had changed. Its eyes seemed brighter, and its movements more confident. He knew now that this little creature was more than just a shark, it was a beacon of hope for their mission to save the ocean. They set off in the boat, the night calm and the first hints of dawn beginning to break on the horizon. Jake felt a renewed sense of determination as he looked out at the vast, beautiful sea. He knew the journey ahead would be challenging, but with Lily by his side and the baby shark as their guide, he felt ready to face whatever came their way. As the sun rose, casting a golden glow over the water, Jake and Lily made a silent promise to protect the ocean and all its inhabitants. Little did they know, their actions would inspire others and lead to a movement that would change their community and beyond. But just as they began to feel hopeful, a distant roar echoed across the water, signaling that their adventure was only beginning and that greater challenges awaited them on the horizon. The moon cast a silver glow over the shoreline as Jake watched the baby shark swim in circles near the water's edge. He felt a deep connection to the little creature, wondering what its presence meant. Suddenly, he noticed tiny footprints leading away from the water, disappearing into the nearby forest. Jake's curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to follow the trail, hoping to find answers about the mysterious baby shark. As Jake walked deeper into the forest, the sounds of the night surrounded him, crickets chirping, leaves rustling, and the distant hoot of an owl. The footprints led him to an old lighthouse standing tall among the trees. Its windows glowed with an eerie light, and Jake felt a chill run down his spine. He approached the lighthouse cautiously, the wooden door creaking as he pushed it open. Inside, the lighthouse was filled with strange devices and glowing screens. Jake's eyes widened as he saw a group of scientists huddled around a large table, studying the baby shark with intense focus. The room was filled with equipment he couldn't understand, and the air buzzed with the hum of machines. Jake took a step forward, unsure of what to do next. One of the scientists looked up, noticing Jake's presence. "Who are you?" the scientist asked, his voice firm but curious. Jake took a deep breath. "I saved the baby shark from the net. I was just trying to help." The scientist studied Jake for a moment before nodding. "You did a brave thing. We've been tracking this shark for a long time. It's special." Before Jake could ask any more questions, the lighthouse began to shake. Dust fell from the ceiling, and alarms started blaring loudly. The scientists rushed to their stations, trying to stabilize the equipment. Jake felt the ground tremble beneath his feet, and he looked around, worried about the baby shark. Suddenly, the baby shark darted towards an open window, slipping through the gap and disappearing into the darkness outside. Jake and the scientists rushed to the window, watching as the little shark swam swiftly into the night. Just then, a loud crash echoed through the lighthouse as lightning struck one of the windows, sending shards of glass flying. "Something's wrong," one of the scientists shouted, grabbing Jake's arm. "We need to get out of here." They all hurried towards the exit, but the storm outside was getting worse. Rain poured down in heavy sheets, and the wind howled through the trees. Jake could barely see through the rain as they made their way back to the shore. The lighthouse shook again, and Jake felt a surge of fear. Was the storm natural, or was something else causing it? As they reached the beach, the storm hit with full force. Huge waves crashed against the rocks, and the wind blew so hard that Jake could barely stand. The scientists helped each other navigate the rough terrain, but Jake stayed close to the edge, watching the turbulent sea. He couldn't shake the feeling that the baby shark was trying to tell him something important. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating the dark clouds and the fierce waves. In that moment, Jake saw something incredible. The baby shark began to glow with a bright, blue light, swimming effortlessly against the powerful currents. It swam towards him, and Jake felt a sense of calm wash over him despite the chaos around him. The glowing shark stopped just inches from Jake, and he felt a gentle nudge against his hand. He reached out slowly, touching the shark's fin. Suddenly, images filled his mind, visions of underwater worlds, colorful coral reefs, and creatures he had never seen before. He saw the baby shark communicating with other sea creatures, guiding them to safety during the storm. Jake realized that the baby shark was not just an ordinary shark. It was a guardian of the ocean, sent to protect the marine life from harm. The storm was not a natural occurrence, but a test of the shark's abilities. Jake felt a strong sense of responsibility. He had to help the shark in any way he could. As the storm began to subside, the baby shark swam back towards the water, its glow fading as it returned to its natural state. Jake watched as it disappeared beneath the waves, feeling a deep sense of gratitude and wonder. He knew that this was just the beginning of something much bigger. The scientists approached him, their expressions a mix of awe and excitement. "You saw it too, didn't you?" one of them asked. "The baby shark is part of a special program to protect our oceans. We've been trying to keep it safe from those who don't understand its purpose." Jake nodded, still processing everything that had happened. "What happens now?" he asked. "We need your help," another scientist replied. "The baby shark has a unique connection with the ocean. With your help, we can ensure it continues its mission to protect marine life." Jake felt a surge of determination. He had saved the baby shark, and now he had a chance to make a real difference. "I'm in," he said firmly. "Tell me what I need to do." The scientists exchanged looks, then one of them handed Jake a small device. "This will help you communicate with the shark. Use it wisely, and together, we can make sure the ocean stays safe for everyone." Jake took the device, feeling its weight in his hand. He looked out at the now calm sea, knowing that his life had changed forever. He was no longer just a man who loved the ocean, he was now a protector, working alongside a special guardian to keep the waters safe. As Jake prepared to leave the lighthouse, he glanced back at the scientists. "Thank you for everything," he said. "I won't let you down." One of the scientists smiled. "We know you won't. Welcome to the team." Jake stepped out into the fresh, post-storm air, feeling hopeful and ready for the challenges ahead. He looked out at the endless horizon, knowing that his bond with the baby shark was just the start of an incredible journey to protect the ocean and its inhabitants. The night sky was clear now, stars twinkling above as Jake made his way back home. He thought about the baby shark and the visions he had seen. There was so much more to learn and so many more lives to protect. With the device in his hand and a new sense of purpose in his heart, Jake knew he was ready to face whatever came next. As he walked along the quiet beach, Jake felt a gentle splash behind him. He turned to see the baby shark swimming close, its eyes meeting his. It gave a small, reassuring nod before diving back into the water. Jake smiled, feeling a deep connection to the sea and its mysterious guardian. He reached his house, exhausted but filled with a sense of accomplishment. As he entered, his family greeted him with warm smiles, unaware of the incredible adventure he had just experienced. Jake shared a brief smile with them, knowing that his life had changed in ways they could never imagine. That night, as Jake lay in bed, he couldn't stop thinking about the baby shark and the mission ahead. He knew there would be more challenges, but he felt ready to face them. The ocean was counting on him, and he was determined to do whatever it took to protect it. With a final glance at the device on his nightstand, Jake closed his eyes, dreaming of the underwater worlds and the adventures that awaited him. He knew that this was just the beginning, and he was eager to see what the future held. The next morning, Jake woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. He grabbed the device and headed back to the lighthouse, ready to start his journey as a protector of the ocean. As he walked, he felt the weight of responsibility but also the strength of his new mission. When he arrived, the scientists were waiting for him, ready to guide him through the next steps. Together, they began to plan their efforts to safeguard the marine life and uncover the secrets of the baby shark's abilities. Jake felt a sense of belonging, knowing that he was part of something much bigger than himself. As the days turned into weeks, Jake trained with the scientists, learning how to use the device and communicate with the baby shark. He discovered new ways to help the shark protect the ocean, working together to keep the seas safe from harm. The bond between Jake and the shark grew stronger, built on trust and a shared mission. One evening, as Jake was practicing his communication skills, he received a message through the device. The baby shark was in trouble, and Jake needed to act quickly. Without hesitation, he grabbed his gear and followed the instructions, racing to the location where the shark was calling for help. When he arrived, he found the ocean in chaos. Pollution had spread rapidly, threatening the marine life and the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Jake worked tirelessly alongside the baby shark and the scientists, cleaning up the pollution and restoring the natural order of the sea. Through their combined efforts, Jake and the baby shark were able to save countless lives and protect the ocean from further damage. The community began to take notice, joining forces to support the mission and ensure that the ocean remained a safe and vibrant place for all its inhabitants. Jake's journey was filled with challenges and triumphs, each day bringing new opportunities to make a difference. He felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that his actions were helping to preserve the beauty and wonder of the ocean for future generations. As the story of Jake and the baby shark spread, people from all around came together to support their mission. Schools organized beach cleanups, and local businesses partnered with the scientists to fund their efforts. The community united with a common goal, inspired by the bravery and determination of one man and his special friend. Jake looked out at the ocean, feeling a sense of peace and accomplishment. He knew that there would always be more work to do, but he was ready to face whatever challenges came his way. With the baby shark by his side, he felt confident that they could overcome any obstacle and protect the ocean they both loved so dearly. One sunny afternoon, as Jake and the baby shark patrolled the shoreline, they discovered a hidden cove filled with vibrant marine life. The water was crystal clear, and the coral reefs teemed with colorful fish and other sea creatures. It was a place of beauty and tranquility, a perfect example of what they were fighting to protect. Jake realized that this hidden cove was a sanctuary, a safe haven for the marine life they worked so hard to save. He felt a deep sense of pride and joy, knowing that their efforts had made a real difference. Together, he and the baby shark continued their mission, exploring new areas and uncovering the many wonders of the ocean. As the sun set over the horizon, casting a golden glow across the water, Jake felt a profound connection to the sea and its mysterious guardian. He knew that their journey was far from over, but he was ready for whatever lay ahead. With each passing day, their bond grew stronger and their mission became clearer. Jake's story was one of courage, friendship, and unwavering dedication to protecting the ocean. It was a story that touched the hearts of many, inspiring others to join the cause and make a difference in their own communities. Together, they worked to ensure that the ocean remained a place of wonder and life, safe from harm and full of promise for the future. And so, Jake and the baby shark continued their journey, side by side, facing each new challenge with determination and hope. And if you like the story, remember to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Their story was a testament to the power of kindness, the strength of friendship, and the incredible things that can happen when one person decides to make a difference. As the days turned into months, Jake became a symbol of hope and change, a beacon of light in the fight to protect the ocean. His bond with the baby shark was unbreakable, a testament to the incredible connection between humans and the natural world. Together, they proved that even the smallest acts of kindness could lead to the most extraordinary adventures. Jake looked forward to each new day, eager to see what the ocean had in store for him and his special friend. He knew that their journey was just beginning, and he was ready to embrace whatever came their way. With the baby shark by his side, he felt unstoppable, ready to face any challenge and protect the ocean they both cherished so deeply. Jake stood inside the old lighthouse, his heart pounding loudly in his chest. The bright light from the beacon cast long shadows on the walls, making the room look even more mysterious. He looked around, trying to understand why the scientists were so focused on their strange devices instead of listening to him. One of the scientists, Dr. Elena, was busy adjusting a large, blinking machine. Her glasses slipped down her nose as she peered at the screen. Jake took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. "I saved the baby shark," he said again, his voice shaking a little. "Please, you have to help us." Before Dr. Elena could respond, a loud crash echoed through the lighthouse. The building began to shake, and the lights flickered. Jake grabbed the baby shark, which was now swimming frantically in a small tank beside him. The alarm started ringing, a loud and piercing sound that made everyone jump. "What's happening?" Jake shouted over the noise, his eyes wide with fear. The scientists looked around, confused and worried. Suddenly, the baby shark swam to the edge of the tank and pressed against the glass with its nose. Jake felt a strange pull, like the shark was trying to tell him something important. Without warning, the window at the top of the lighthouse burst open, and the baby shark leapt out, disappearing into the dark night. Jake gasped, watching as the small shark swam swiftly into the crashing waves below. He turned to the scientists, who were now scrambling to turn off the alarm. "We have to get out of here," Dr. Elena said urgently, her voice barely audible over the noise. "A storm is coming, and it's going to be dangerous." Jake nodded, clutching the baby shark's tank tightly. He followed the scientists as they hurried down the spiral staircase, the lighthouse shaking with each step. The wind howled outside, and rain began to pour in through the broken window. Lightning flashed, lighting up the dark sky and making it hard to see. As they reached the bottom of the lighthouse, a massive wave crashed against the rocks below, sending water spraying into the room. Jake felt the ground tremble beneath his feet. He looked back up at the top of the lighthouse, where the baby shark had disappeared. A sense of worry and determination filled him. He had to find the shark and protect it. Outside, the storm raged on. The wind was so strong that it felt like the whole world was shaking. Jake and the scientists tried to make their way through the heavy rain, but the path was slippery and dangerous. Thunder boomed, making it hard to hear anything else. "We need to get to higher ground," Dr. Elena shouted over the storm. "It's not safe here anymore." They hurried through the darkened streets, the rain soaking them to the bone. Trees bent and swayed in the powerful wind, and debris flew through the air. Jake struggled to keep up, his eyes scanning the water for any sign of the baby shark. Suddenly, a bright light appeared in the distance. It was coming from the lighthouse, which was now barely visible through the heavy rain and darkness. Jake felt a pang of fear. Why was the lighthouse still shining so brightly in the middle of the storm? As they approached a safer area, the group took shelter in a small, sturdy building. Inside, they were safe from the worst of the storm, but the noise was still loud, and the building shook with each thunderclap. Jake leaned against the wall, trying to catch his breath. He couldn't stop thinking about the baby shark and what had happened. "We need to find out what that device was," Jake said quietly to Dr. Elena. "And why the shark escaped." Dr. Elena nodded thoughtfully. "There is something special about that shark," she replied. "It's not like any other shark we've studied. Maybe it's trying to communicate with us." Jake felt a flicker of hope. "Do you think it needs our help?" "Yes," Dr. Elena said firmly. "I believe this shark is more important than we realized. We need to find it and understand its role." As the storm began to calm outside, the group sat together, discussing their next steps. Jake felt a sense of purpose he hadn't felt before. He knew he had to find the baby shark and uncover the secrets it held. The next morning, the storm had passed, leaving behind a quiet and eerie calm. The streets were wet and glistening in the sunlight, and the lighthouse stood tall against the clear blue sky. Jake, Dr. Elena, and the other scientists prepared to search for the baby shark, determined to find answers. They returned to the lighthouse, now fully repaired after the storm. Jake felt a mix of fear and excitement as they approached the building. Inside, everything was still, and there was no sign of the baby shark. They searched every room, but the shark was nowhere to be found. Just as they were about to give up, Dr. Elena noticed something unusual in the corner of the main room. A small, hidden door was slightly ajar, revealing a dark passageway beyond. She motioned for the others to stay back as she approached the door cautiously. "Jake, do you see this?" she whispered, her eyes wide with surprise. "There's something behind here." Jake nodded, feeling his heart race. Maybe the shark went that way. With a deep breath, Dr. Elena pushed the door open, revealing a narrow staircase that led down into the darkness. They followed the stairs, their footsteps echoing in the quiet space. At the bottom, they entered a large underground chamber filled with strange equipment and glowing lights. In the center of the room stood a large tank, much bigger than the one Jake had the baby shark in. Inside the tank was a different kind of shark, one that shimmered with an otherworldly light. It was much larger than the baby shark and seemed to be watching them with intelligent eyes. "This must be why the baby shark escaped," Dr. Elena said softly. "It's trying to connect with us." Jake stepped closer to the tank, feeling a strange energy in the room. "What does it want?" Before Dr. Elena could answer, the lights in the chamber began to flicker, and the larger shark started to move towards the edge of the tank. It pressed its nose against the glass, just like the baby shark had before. Suddenly, the tank began to glow brightly, and a beam of light shot out, enveloping Jake and the scientists. Jake felt a warm sensation, like a gentle hug, surrounding him. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he found himself in a different place. It was underwater, but it wasn't like any ocean he had ever seen. The water was clear and vibrant, filled with colorful coral reefs and schools of fish that swam in perfect harmony. The larger shark swam gracefully beside him, its eyes still filled with intelligence. "Welcome, Jake," it said in a calm, soothing voice. "You have saved one of our own, and now you must help us protect our home." Jake was amazed. "You can talk?" The shark nodded. "Yes, and many of us can. Our world is in danger, and we need your help to save it." Jake looked around, taking in the beauty of the underwater paradise. "What can I do to help?" The shark gestured towards a distant part of the reef where the water was dark and murky. "There is a threat approaching our home. A powerful force is polluting our waters, harming our friends, and disrupting the balance of life. We need you to help us stop it. Jake felt a surge of determination. I'll do whatever I can to help. The shark smiled. Thank you, Jake. Together, we can make a difference. As Jake listened to the shark's words, he realized that his journey was just beginning. He had saved a baby shark, but now he had a much bigger mission to protect the ocean and its incredible creatures. With the support of his new friends, Jake knew he could make a real difference and help create a better future for the underwater world. When Jake opened his eyes again, he was back in the underground chamber, the large tank now glowing softly. Dr. Elena and the other scientists were standing around him, looking concerned. Jake, are you okay? Dr. Elena asked gently. Jake nodded, a smile spreading across his face. I was just talking to the shark. It needs our help. The scientists exchanged amazed glances. Did you see it? One of them asked. Yes, Jake replied. It's real, and it's asking us to protect the ocean. Dr. Elena looked thoughtful. If what you're saying is true, we need to take action immediately. The health of our oceans is vital, and if there's a threat, we must stop it. Jake felt a sense of purpose welling up inside him. We can start by raising awareness and working together to clean up the pollution. The sharks need us. The group agreed, feeling inspired by Jake's experience. They began to plan their next steps, determined to make a difference. Jake felt a strong connection to the sharks and knew that he had found his true calling. As they left the lighthouse, the sun was shining brightly, reflecting off the calm waters. Jake looked out at the ocean, feeling hopeful for the first time in a long while. He knew that the journey ahead would be challenging, but with the support of his friends and the guidance of the wise sharks, he was ready to face whatever came his way. Back home, Jake shared his story with his family and friends, explaining the importance of protecting the ocean and its creatures. People listened attentively, touched by his passion and determination. Slowly, the community began to change, coming together to clean up the beaches and reduce pollution. Jake felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that his actions were making a real difference. He continued to work closely with the scientists and the sharks, learning more about their world and how he could help. Together, they faced many challenges, but their bond and shared mission kept them strong. One day, as Jake was walking along the shore, he noticed something sparkling in the sand. Curious, he picked it up and saw that it was a small, intricately carved amulet. It glowed softly in his hand, reminding him of the connection he had with the sharks and the ocean. As Jake held the amulet, he felt a surge of energy and knew that his journey was far from over. There were more secrets to uncover and more lives to protect. With a determined smile, he looked out at the horizon, ready to embrace whatever adventures lay ahead. The story of Jake and the baby shark had just begun, and together, they would continue to fight for the beauty and balance of the underwater world. Their friendship and shared mission created a powerful force for good, inspiring others to join their cause and work towards a brighter, cleaner future for all. Jake stood on the shore, the wind still howling from the storm that had just passed. The sky was gray, and the sea was calm now, but his heart was anything but. He looked out over the water, his eyes searching every wave and ripple for any sign of the baby shark he had saved. The storm had been fierce, and Jake couldn't shake the feeling that something important had changed. He felt a heavy weight in his chest. Had he done the right thing? Was the baby shark safe? Jake took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart. He knew he had to find the little creature, no matter what. Slowly, he began walking along the beach, his feet sinking slightly into the wet sand. Each step felt like a lifetime as he called out, "Little shark, where are you?" The beach was quiet, except for the gentle sound of the waves now that the storm had passed. Jake walked further, his eyes darting to every corner, every shadow. Memories of the storm flashed through his mind, the lightning, the thunder, the fierce winds. He remembered how he had felt so helpless, fighting against the current to save the baby shark. Now, seeing it missing, guilt gnawed at him. "What if something happened to you?" he whispered, his voice barely audible. Jake reached the spot where he had found the shark earlier. He knelt down, searching the rocks and shallow pools, hoping to catch a glimpse of the baby's fin. Minutes felt like hours as he continued his search. He called out again, louder this time, "Please, come back. I'm here to help." Just as Jake was about to turn around, feeling defeated, he heard a soft splash. He looked up to see the baby shark swimming towards him, but it was different. The shark was larger now, its skin shimmered with a bright, iridescent glow, and a glowing mark on its fin sparkled in the fading sunlight. Jake's eyes widened in awe and relief. The transformed shark approached him slowly, its movements graceful and calm. Jake felt a strange sense of peace wash over him. As the shark came closer, he could see its eyes, gentle and wise. To his amazement, the shark began to speak in a soft, melodic voice. "Thank you for saving me, Jake," the shark said. Jake blinked in surprise, unsure if he was dreaming. "You have a kind heart," the shark continued. "I am not just a baby shark. I am a guardian of the ocean, sent to protect the seas from harm." Jake felt his mouth go dry. A talking shark? It sounded unbelievable, but the sincerity in the creature's voice made him believe it. "A guardian?" Jake asked, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and wonder. "What do you mean?" The shark swam in circles, creating small waves around them. "There are many secrets beneath the waves that humans are unaware of. Our oceans are filled with life and magic, but they are also in danger from pollution and neglect. I was sent to watch over the seas and ensure that balance is maintained." Jake listened intently, his initial fear melting away. "Why did you need me to save you?" he asked. "Why did you let me help?" The shark paused, then replied, "Sometimes, the ocean sends help in unexpected ways. By saving me, you have shown that you care about the ocean and its creatures. Together, we can make a difference." Jake felt a surge of hope and responsibility. "What can I do to help?" he asked eagerly. "I want to protect the ocean too." The shark smiled, a gesture that made Jake feel even closer to it. "There is much to learn and many tasks to accomplish. But first, you must understand the secrets of the underwater world. I will share them with you, and in return, you will help spread the message of conservation and care." Jake nodded, feeling a deep connection to the shark and the mission it had entrusted to him. "I promise I'll do everything I can," he said firmly. The shark swam closer, its glowing mark pulsating with light. "Follow me," it instructed. "There is much to show you." Jake felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as he followed the shark back into the water. The ocean felt different now, alive with possibilities and hidden wonders. As they swam together, the shark began to share stories of the deep sea, of coral reefs teeming with life, of underwater caves filled with ancient treasures, and of the delicate balance that kept the ocean thriving. They reached a hidden cove where the water was clear and calm. The shark led Jake to an underwater cave entrance, illuminated by bioluminescent algae that glowed in beautiful patterns. "This is one of the many hidden places that need protection," the shark explained. "Humans often overlook these areas, but they are vital to the health of our oceans." Jake looked around in amazement. The cave was a sanctuary, filled with vibrant marine life and sparkling rocks. "It's beautiful," he whispered. "I never knew something like this existed." The shark nodded. "There is much beauty in the ocean, but also much that needs our help. Pollution, overfishing, and climate change threaten these wonders. We need allies like you to spread the word and take action." Jake felt a strong sense of purpose. "I will help. I want everyone to see how important the ocean is and what we can do to protect it." As they swam out of the cave, the shark continued to share its wisdom. It spoke of the interconnectedness of all marine life and how each creature, no matter how small, played a crucial role in maintaining the ocean's health. Jake realized that his actions, no matter how small, could have a big impact. They reached the open sea, where the water stretched out endlessly. The shark turned to Jake, its eyes full of gratitude. "Thank you for saving me and for being willing to help. Together, we can make a real difference." Jake felt a warmth in his heart. I'm ready to do whatever it takes, he said, determination shining in his eyes. As they swam back towards the shore, Jake noticed the first rays of the morning sun breaking through the clouds. The sky was clear now, and the ocean sparkled under the sunlight. It was a new day, filled with hope and possibilities. Suddenly, a shadow loomed beneath the water. Jake's heart skipped a beat as he saw a large, dark shape moving towards them. The shark swam protectively in front of him, its glow intensifying. "Stay close, Jake," it instructed calmly. The shadow drew closer, revealing a massive underwater machine designed to extract resources from the ocean floor. Jake felt a surge of fear. "What is that?" he asked, his voice shaking. The shark looked serious. "That is a harvesting device. It disrupts the natural balance and harms the marine life. We must stop it." Jake felt a surge of courage. "How can we stop it?" he asked. The shark glanced at him, a spark of determination in its eyes. "We need to disable the machine and alert others to its presence. It's dangerous work, but together, we can do it." Jake nodded, feeling the weight of the task ahead. "I'm with you," he said firmly. They approached the machine cautiously. The shark used its glowing mark to signal Jake, who understood that they needed to work together seamlessly. The machine was vast, with many moving parts and dangerous mechanisms. Jake felt a mix of fear and excitement as they got closer. The shark led the way, showing Jake the weak points in the machine. They moved quickly but carefully, avoiding the heavy machinery and sharp edges. Jake took out his phone, ready to call for help if needed, but the situation was tense, and he knew he had to stay focused. As they worked, the shark explained more about the device. "These machines are destroying habitats and killing innocent marine life. They prioritize profit over the health of the ocean, and we cannot let that continue." Jake felt anger rise within him. "It's so wrong," he said, gripping his phone tightly. "People need to know what's happening here." They reached the main control panel of the machine. The shark used its glowing mark to communicate with Jake, guiding his hands to the correct switches. Jake hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath and flipped the switches as instructed. The machine began to shut down, its lights dimming and its movements slowing. Suddenly, alarms started blaring, and the machine's defenses activated. Jake and the shark had to move quickly to avoid being caught. They swam as fast as they could, the machine now powerless but still dangerous. The shark's glow provided the light they needed to navigate through the chaos. As they reached a safe distance, Jake took out his phone and began recording the entire ordeal. "This is Jake," he said, his voice steady despite the adrenaline pumping through his veins. "I have just witnessed an illegal operation harming our ocean. We need to take action now to protect our marine life." The shark swam beside him, its presence reassuring. "Your voice is important, Jake. Share what you have seen, and others will join our cause." Jake nodded, feeling a strong sense of responsibility. "I will. I promise." They swam back to the shore, where Jake found his way out of the water. As he walked along the beach, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that saving the baby shark was just the beginning of a much larger mission. Together with his new friend, the guardian shark, he was ready to fight for the ocean's future. Back at home, Jake uploaded the video he had recorded. Within hours, it went viral, capturing the attention of people all around the world. Messages of support poured in, and environmental groups reached out to join the fight against ocean pollution and destruction. Jake felt overwhelmed but hopeful. He had found his calling, and he was not alone. The next day, Jake received a call from the local news station. They wanted to interview him about his incredible experience. Nervous but excited, he agreed. During the interview, he shared his story and the urgent need to protect the ocean. The footage of the shutdown machine had already sparked a movement, and Jake knew this was just the start. As the days passed, Jake and the shark continued their work. They visited schools, community centers, and public events, spreading the message of conservation and the importance of caring for the ocean. People listened, inspired by Jake's dedication and the mysterious guardian shark who had become his partner. One evening, as Jake was preparing for another community meeting, he heard a knock at his door. He opened it to find the guardian shark, now visible on land, shimmering under the porch light. Jake's eyes widened in amazement. "You can come on land?" he asked, awe in his voice. The shark nodded, its glow dimming slightly. "Yes, but only for a short time. We have much to discuss." Jake invited the shark inside, feeling a mix of excitement and curiosity. They sat together, and the shark began to share more about the underwater world and the challenges it faced. Jake listened intently, taking notes and thinking of ways to help. As they talked, Jake realized that this partnership was more than just about saving one shark or one ocean. It was about connecting people to the beauty and importance of the natural world, fostering a sense of responsibility and care that could lead to real change. Days turned into weeks, and Jake's efforts began to show results. Cleanup initiatives were organized, new marine protected areas were established, and awareness campaigns gained momentum. The community rallied together, united by a common goal to protect their local beaches and the ocean beyond. One sunny afternoon, Jake received an invitation to speak at an international environmental conference. He was honored and a little nervous, but he knew this was an opportunity to make an even bigger impact. He prepared his speech, focusing on the story of the guardian shark and the urgent need for global cooperation to preserve the oceans. On the day of the conference, Jake stood on the stage, looking out at the audience. He felt a sense of pride and determination. As he began to speak, he saw the audience's attention focused on him, ready to listen and learn. "Thank you all for being here," Jake began. "I want to share a story about a small act of kindness that led to something much bigger. A few months ago, I saved a baby shark from a net, not knowing it would change my life and the lives of many others." He continued, sharing his journey and the lessons he had learned from the guardian shark. He spoke about the importance of every individual's role in protecting the environment and the power of community action. His words resonated deeply with the audience, sparking conversations and inspiring others to take action. After his speech, Jake received countless messages of support and offers to collaborate on environmental projects. He felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing that his actions were making a difference. The guardian shark had not only saved his life, but had also given him a purpose and a mission to protect the ocean. As the conference came to an end, Jake reflected on how far he had come. From that stormy night on the beach to standing before an international audience, his journey had been filled with challenges and triumphs. He knew there was still much work to be done, but he felt ready to face whatever came next. Back at home, Jake found the guardian shark waiting for him. They had formed a strong bond, and Jake knew he could always count on his friend for guidance and support. Together, they looked out over the ocean, knowing that their fight for the seas was just beginning. "Thank you for believing in me," Jake said softly. "I couldn't have done any of this without you." The shark smiled, its glow shining brightly. "And I couldn't have found such a brave and caring friend. Together, we will protect the ocean and ensure its beauty endures for generations to come." Jake felt a deep sense of gratitude and hope. He knew that with the guardian shark by his side and the support of his community, they could overcome any obstacle. The ocean was safe, for now, but their journey was far from over. They had many more adventures and challenges ahead, each one bringing them closer to a world where the seas were cherished and protected. As the sun set over the horizon, casting a golden glow across the water, Jake and the guardian shark stood together, ready to face whatever the future held. Their bond was unbreakable, their mission clear, and their hearts full of determination. The story of how Jake saved a baby shark had become a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of kindness and courage. And if you like the story, remember to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell.